Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Basketball Bulletin. My name is DFree, and today we're just going to go through a general rumor mill because there's not much to talk about today, and games are going to start popping up soon. And typically, when games start popping up, our videos kind of just take a nosedive viewership-wise because people are tuning into the game, of course. So I'm not really expecting too much, but I wanted to just touch bases with you guys. Trevor is busy, so let's go ahead and dive in. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Celtics. We're going to talk a little bit about, of course, their opponents, some of the games happening today: Knicks, Pistons, Lakers, Wolves. Also going to talk about Luka as well. So since we're already kind of on the Celtics piece of it, I wanted to kind of talk about the Celtics and Magic to start things off. But first, make sure you subscribe because 80% of viewers are missing out. Trevor Lane and I cover the entire NBA, and we cover all this stuff as it comes out. So it's news, it's breakdowns, all that stuff. Make sure you check it out. But yes, 80% of viewers are missing out by not being subscribed. That's what I meant to say. All right. So Jaylen Brown, some of the Celtics guys, they were kind of talking about it after the last game, how physical it was. That was a hard-fought battle. I believe it was a 2-point game in the favor of the Magic. And that was, firstly, a really fun physical game. I think that at first I hadn't watched it. I was pretty busy, but I did go back and watch it. I think that we have a playoffs this year that I think is extremely physical, and it's always jarring when you go from calling everything. You see, when you go from seeing them call everything in the regular season to like, nah, we're not giving you that in the playoffs, right? I love it. It's so cool. But there was some remarks from Jaylen Brown after the game and some other guys, but namely Jaylen Brown made headlines where he talked about the physicality of it. And he's like, oh, if you want to fight, we're going to fight. If there's going to maybe be a tussle out here. All this, I think that's going a bit far. However, assuming it's not reckless, right, then I think you need to just meet physicality with physicality. That's the most important thing. Sometimes the physicality can get a little reckless, and I don't think that's safe for anybody or okay or should be condoned. But there's nothing wrong with these guys just playing hard, handsy, physical. Like it is what it is. Like you got to just meet that. Either you do or you don't, right? Now, you can still win without meeting that if you're just a better team. But I think if a team's going to try to muck it up on you, you've got to meet them halfway. And I think that you've got to, Darvin Hamism right here, go hard on them dudes, right? I finally know what he means now. No, so yeah, that's what I think you have to do, right? So people that aren't Darvin fans or Laker fans, whatever, aren't really going to catch that. But so Anthony Black was kind of asked about it and talked about it. He said, this is how we've played all year. Magic guard Anthony Black said about the physicality of the series versus Boston. We like to touch people on defense. We're into the ball. We pick up. That's just the style of basketball we play. We just did a great job preventing his attempts as well. When Jason Bede asked about Peyton Pritchard, we just did a great job preventing his attempts. Cole Anthony said that's what worked against Peyton Pritchard in game 3. That was big. We just got to be ready to do a great job on him. And not just him, but Derek White too. So firstly, on the Anthony Black piece. So yeah, like I said, they're a team that's going to try to muck it up on you, especially a team that's great defensively, kind of subpar offensively, but they can kind of hang and make it a battle if the game goes their way, if the game is in their tempo, if the game's style matches their style. They can kind of muck it up and make the game more in their favor. And that's what their strategy will have to be because they don't have the firepower to match Boston. Now, Boston's also had, in this game, Peyton didn't have his best game, but I believe Kristaps, last time I checked, wasn't playing great either him or Horford. But they've had some guys kind of underperforming. Boston's also banged up, right? So I think that's the thing about it too, is I think Boston will need to try to wrap this series ASAP just to move on. I don't think they can afford to have this series go 6. So I would expect for them to come out and try to give their best shot to wrap this one up sooner. But regardless, though, the Magic are tough. They're young. They're athletic. They've got length. They've got size. They've got all these awesome athletes. They've got defense. They've got some tough shot makers on their team. Like the Magic, I think they're a little bit ahead of schedule, but they profile as a team that's going to be really good for a while, assuming they can keep this core together. And this matching up with them will not get any easier, right? So they're definitely a tough first-round matchup, I think. But again, I say that, but I do personally still think the odds of the Magic winning the series, assuming that Boston retains the health they've at least got right now, I think the odds are extremely low. Like this is probably a bit dramatic, but you may have a chance of winning a low level lottery. You may have a better chance of that than the Magic winning. And I don't mean to sound like a hater because, like I just said, I do like them. I think they're going to be really good, but that's just the level of respect I have for the defending champions. So Bobby Manning asked Horford on the KP struggles. I haven't said anything to him, but Kristaps is a great competitor. I know he'll respond and he'll be ready. It's a little different of a matchup, but we just have to make sure we play at our pace. I feel like we got bogged down a little bit last game. That's exactly what I was just saying. That's going to be the entire strategy. Like quite literally, that's the entire strategy is they need to make the game more physical. They need to bog it down, as he was saying. So Isaiah Stewart is sitting out today. Last I checked, this game was like a 52-51 game earlier today. Like it's ongoing right now. That game, that series seems fun because they seem like they're really poised. The Pistons do. I think that, and some of that just stems from the fact that I think that Cade is very poised as a player. But I think they've got the right mix of veterans there, and it's been pretty remarkable what they've done. So that being said, the Knicks and Pistons, I think, have a battle. I'm curious about what the score is right now. Maybe I can check that live in the video, but I do like that series a lot. So the score for that game, let me see how this is going. Pistons are rallying. Oh, they're up. 7 minutes left, 73-76. Are they going to actually pull this off? Or 73-79. Are they going to pull this off? Oh, man. And go up 2-2, right? Or tied 2-2, excuse me, as opposed to going down 3-1. Yeah, so the Pistons are tough as well. Like I like a few of the teams out east. I do. Despite the national narrative on East being weak, I do like a few of the teams out there. Magic talked about this, how these games in the playoffs have been really physical and all that stuff. And all the games today either are going to go 3-1 or 2-2. So, yeah, that's going to be pretty fun. I'm excited to see that. There's already been a lot of talk also about Jalen Brunson and his foul baiting, his heliocentric play style, how much he has the ball, all that stuff. And yeah, so on the topic of Brunson, he's only gotten 2 free throws today. We're in the fourth quarter. He has 23 points and he has 2 free throws. Interesting. This has been a low free throw game in general, though. They've both taken 15 and 16 respectively. So yeah, they're just letting him play, I guess. So that's cool. All right, so Luka, speaking of play, could argue maybe he shouldn't have played last game. I mean, it's commendable when a guy goes out there when they're not feeling it, right? He had a stomach bug, and basically, according to Shams, Luka spent all of Saturday sleeping in his bed. Like, he spent the entire Saturday in his bed. He couldn't do that on Thursday and Friday when he was dealing with the viral bug, but he played through it on Friday night, of course. And the Lakers really were in a tough spot because while Luka had some really nice plays, like a couple of like late shot clock 3-point shots that just went in, I believe he had some nice passes too, as he typically does. It felt like he just was clearly not at 100, and you can see it. And it's unfortunate. You could see it. He was like at 50, like maybe 50. Like you could see it. And so there were so many times, like on defense, especially, where it felt like it was 4-on-5 because he wasn't able to make that rotation. He wasn't able to even battle out there. So Jaden McDaniels had a awesome time scoring out of those situations too, by the way. He had 30 points last game. So you're going to need a healthy Luka. The Lakers team does not. They have the star power in Luka, LeBron, sure, but they don't have the depth to be missing one of their top guys, especially in the playoffs, and still come out. And he played. I don't want to say missing. He played, but like he was not. You need your guys out there fully healthy, or as healthy as you can expect to be at the playoff time. They don't have the depth to withstand that. So they're going to need a big game from Luka. I don't expect another 38 piece from LeBron today, but LeBron's been pretty good on defense in this series. I see people mention this online, and then I see people replying like laughing emojis but they're clearly not tuned in with it. But LeBron has been really awesome on defense. LeBron, I saw a stat that LeBron actually is the leading, prior to today's games, right? Because I don't know what's changed so far and whatever. But LeBron was actually the leading rim protector in the playoffs on attempts. I think it was 6 for 15. So he's been pretty good. And that's not all. He's been physical. He's been out there trying to be a playmaker defensively, stripping the ball, doing all these other things, making the rotations. I think with LeBron, it's weird because this team, like I said, they don't have the depth, so they kind of still need him to average like 25, right? But he also has a really big workload because they also need him to get 8, 9, 10 plus rebounds. They also need him to sometimes set the floor for other players or set the table for other players. They also need him to be at least above average defensive player. Like, that's not asking a lot of a superstar in general, but it is kind of asking a lot of a 40-year-old superstar in the position he's in. But I'll also say that it's a testament to how good he's been or is able to be because he's able to just kind of shapeshift. I felt like through the first couple games, he turned into like a rich man's Draymond. Like, like that's like obviously more of the scoring punch, but I felt like that's kind of what he played like in the first couple of games, averaging like 20 and 11 or 21 and 11 or something like that for those first couple of games. So yeah, not to make this all about LeBron, of course, it was about Luka. But yeah, the team just doesn't have the depth. They need their guys, was my point. And especially if Austin's off, it's not going to work. So they need their guys. Luka is ready. He will be playing. He is healthy. And I think this would be a big game. If they go down 3-1, speaking of LeBron, he's come back on the biggest stage from 3-1. I wouldn't peg this team to do that again, or this team to do it at all, I guess, right now. So I think they really need to go 2-2. And 2-2 is interesting because I thought this was a 6-game series. I would skew more towards 7. I don't see them winning 3 straight games. I just don't see it. But what this does do is it gives them back home court because they lost it in the first game, right? So this is a big deal. I think that they'll come out and they'll be locked in. And the way you'll be able to tell if you're rooting for the Lakers is if you'll see their physicality, the way that they're out there playing. If they're lollygagging and BSing, then you'll know this is a bad game, probably. So the reason they won game 2 was because, speaking of LeBron, I thought he really came out and physically set the tone for this team. And it's unfortunate. It is what it is. It hasn't changed even with Luka. It was the case for the last few years with AD too. The team goes as LeBron goes largely, right? Luka's going to do his own thing, but everybody else still seems to fall in line with LeBron. And what I mean by that is if LeBron is energized, he's flying around. It's almost like they take the notion like, oh, the oldest guy in the NBA literally is doing this stuff. I have no excuse. So when LeBron is locked in, everybody else is, right? Luka doesn't need that motivation, but it seems like everyone else does for some reason. And that's been the case for the last few years. So we'll see what happens. Should be a good game. Seems like they're all going to be good games, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. We'll see you later.